Good morning, Eddie Uger, Keller Williams Realty Boise, and today I want to talk about some things that I come across, get asked a lot, or things that get missed when people are purchasing a home. So I want to go over 10 mistakes to avoid when you're looking for a home. Number 10 would be not starting the approval process early enough. A lot of people get caught up in the excitement. You start looking online, and it's kind of like you're almost working backwards. So the first step to any home buying process is get with a lender. I have a great local lender. I encourage people to use somebody locally so you can get a hold of that person, during regular business hours. You're not in different time zones. But that's just my suggestion. Do what you want. You find the mortgage lender, and maybe interview a few people because you want to have you want to get the best interest rate. So do a little shopping around, get pre-qualified, pre-approved, so that when you do submit the offer, that your offer is solid and they're going to take you seriously. So also, a lot of people do not want to work with a real estate agent. This would be number 9, not working with a real estate agent. A commonly overlooked issue is that people tend to think it's going to cost them money. But on the buyer side, it doesn't cost you anything, and you have somebody to represent your best interests. So something to keep in mind. A lot of people use their friends. That's great, but you're exposing yourself. You're going to have a lot of personal information out there, and whether it's a family member or friend, that's great. But it's also good to have a neutral third party that doesn't know you, and when the deal is done, you don't have something going on in the back of your mind that they know about, some financial hiccup, let's say. So that's number 9. Number 8. Buying more home than you can afford. We find that a lot. People really, we all want the most for our money, but it's easy to get swept up in the excitement of it and get something that you can't afford. So your lender will work with you on what you can afford, and lending laws have changed quite a bit over through COVID. They've changed quite a bit, but they'll look at your what is called DTI, or your debt to income ratio, and that's super important because nobody wants to move somewhere and then have to get out after a year or so. And also with that, when you're purchasing is looking at the closing costs, because that will that's part of the what's required in the transaction. So just always consider that. That can be anywhere from roughly 2 to 3% of the cost of the home. Number 7, checking your credit report. You don't want to do that too much because it'll bring down your credit, but in order to get an accurate loan approval, you have to pull your credit. And, it's probably best to do that sooner rather than later, because you want to get locked into a rate sooner, because as we all know, the times are changing and we don't know what credits or interest rates are going to do. So, you want to stay in front of that. So, again, my great lender, Kim Statsny, Guild Mortgage, they have called what's a lock and shop rate. And this is going back to interest rates, but you can get pre-approved and lock into today's rate, and you have 120 days to close on a property. I believe you have 45 days to identify a property, and then another whatever that would be, 90 days or 80 something days to close on that property. And feel free to reach out to me if you want to know more about that. I can pass on Kim's information. Kim Statsny at Guild, she does a much better job explaining than I do. I haven't seen this one too much lately, but number 6 is waiving a home inspection. With the market as it was a year ago, we were seeing a lot of waive the appraisal, waive the home inspection. I definitely do not suggest that. Please do not waive an inspection. It is $400 to $500 up front that is out of your pocket, not included in the transaction. But you want to have another set of eyes that goes through everything to make sure that it is solid. Um, it can't encourage that enough. You saw a lot of that in the last couple of years. Not a good idea. Um, let's see, what are we on? Number 5, spending all of your savings. You buying a house is expensive, so saving for a down payment is super critical, because again, that will go back to your interest rate. The less down payment you have, the higher your interest rates are going to be, because you're asking for more money. So definitely consider that. Number 4, definitely keeping enough money in saving and expenses. Make sure your real estate agent does what's called a net sheet, and just things to consider once you're in the home. There's going to be your HOA insurance, property taxes, consider your moving costs. In a lot of these HOAs, they have what's called a transfer fee. There's another $300 or $400. I've seen it up to $500 to transfer you into that HOA. So just more costs to consider. And what I was talking about, a net sheet, is what your bottom line is to get into that home. You want to have that number, a rock solid number, or within a couple $100 of what the total cost is going to be, what your bottom line is going to be. So again, super important. I encourage you to ask your real estate agent to give you a buyer's net sheet. So number 3, we were talking about not making a down payment. Again, we kind of covered that, so I'm going to skip that one. But also, when you're looking at a home, and if you're a first-time home buyer, don't neglect looking at first-time home buyer programs. Those kind of were tough the last couple of years, because they're a little more stringent on the inspections and the appraisals. They can be a little trickier, but now that the market has shifted, buyers are getting more negotiating power. Things are sitting on the market longer, so yeah, take advantage of those first-time home buyers. Again, I'm happy to share and get you any information you want. Just reach out to me. Ignoring government-backed loans, it kind of goes hand in hand. Always research all of your options. There are FHA loans, there's VA loans if you're a veteran. And we don't see too many of the USDA loans. That's rural development. Those are more in the outlying areas, specific. If you want to get specific to the Boise, the Treasure Valley area, you're looking at, Middleton and out beyond Caldwell, like Greenleaf, Homedale, those areas, Weiser. So, but still a great option for you. And again, those loans can be a little bit more stringent, but definitely worth the research. Could save you a lot of money in the long run. So I guess number 2 would be not researching the neighborhood. Have your agent help you research the schools, the neighborhoods. We're pretty fortunate here in the Treasure Valley. We got great schools. The neighborhoods are generally pretty good. But what I encourage people to do is to drive by at different times of day. What's it like at 5 o'clock? What's it like at 7 or 8 o'clock? Are there a lot of people out? Is there loud music? Maybe that's your jam. I don't know. And you'd buy a place there. I don't know. Anyway, just go to at different times. I think that's super helpful. Let's see. Number one is sort of a two-prong approach, or a two-prong decision. Is your decision-making process. Please don't make an emotional decision. It's so easy to get wrapped up in the excitement of it, and it's beautiful. You finally found that home, but that's what your agent's there to do, is to help you sort of calm your emotions and come at it level-headed. And again, we're not in the market we were, so you don't have to make that quick decision. And again, that's like a two-pronged sort of, the one I see the most is people get emotional. And that's something that your agent should help you with. Like, okay, let's sleep on it. Let's go talk about it. The pros, the cons. Look at it from 10,000 feet. Get the bird's eye view. So, and don't rush to make an offer. That's the other part of that. The second prong of that, making an offer is, um, is super important. But you want to be level-headed about it. And then, but at the same time, you don't want to wait too long. So. I hope you find this helpful. Happy to answer any questions you may have. You can always find me on the web at www.eudryrealestate.com. I have my blog on there. I have lots of information, home search. Happy to set up an appointment with you. In the process of putting up a Calendly link in there. You can always set up an office meeting. I love meeting with people, love meeting for coffee, love just getting out and helping people, especially in the home buying process. That's more my forte. So I hope to see you out there. You can always call me too, 208-629-9975. So please be safe out there, and hopefully this helps you make good decisions.